And welcome back to the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. And as the 2023 recruiting cycle is starting to wrap up, I wanted to go ahead and start looking forward into 2024. And today I am joined by a 2024 four-star recruit, Nigel Smith. He should be a five-star, by the way. If you guys go watch his film, look at the details in 247 on three rivals. The man should be a five-star. But Nigel, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for the holidays to be over so that I can just get back to somewhat of a normalcy, whatever that is. So,
Yes, sir. I'm excited for the break. I'm not. I can't. I'd rather the holidays take a lot longer because it's 2-3 weeks off of school, and it's a nice little break where you can relax, work out, and hoop, do whatever you want.
yeah, it's a good time to just kind of focus on yourself and kind of reset going into the new year, whether it's with the job or like you said with school. And you guys are in basketball season or heading into basketball season, so I'm sure it's good to get a break in there between football and basketball.
Very much so. It is.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and just give everybody a chance to learn a little bit more about you. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, where you grew up, a little bit about your family.
Well, I grew up in town Little Elm, Texas. It's about 40 minutes outside of where I am now. I'm in Melissa, Texas right now, and we moved here. My dad got a job in administration and coaching, and so we came here. And now he's an administrator at the high school. We have probably the best facilities in the nation, so it's a spot that other schools have asked me to go to leave for them, but we have some of the top facilities that I've ever seen, even for colleges. And so, on top of the great coaching we have, I would never leave. I have four siblings. I'm the oldest of five kids, three little sisters and one little brother. And I play basketball. I like to watch anime. I just recently got into golfing a little bit, but other than that, I'm a football player.
All right, so you like the anime, and I'm not gonna lie, I do too. But what's your favorite anime show?
Um, Probably just Dragon Ball. I grew up watching it. My uncle had me watching that since I was a kid, and so it's kind of just like memories and things like that.
All right, cool. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of friends that were they really liked that stuff. They got me into it. They started off easy with some of the, I guess you wouldn't classify it as like super hard anime, but they got me started into Yu-Gi-Oh and the Pokemon, and then they got
Mm.
me into like the One Piece and the Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I totally get it. Anime's great.
It is. It is. It is. My list is. I've watched a lot of it in my years.
Yeah, and it, honestly, it seems like it's coming back with just people and the younger generation. It seemed
Mhm.
like it took a dip there for a while, and it's starting to come back. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. A lot of my friends are starting to get into it as well, and it's good to see. It's good to see these guys who hated on it now they're enjoying watching it. So I'm glad.
hey, you know what? Never let it go. Never grow up. As you can see, I've got a cases full of Transformers over here. So, I listen. It's okay to be a little crazy and continue to love that stuff when you get older.
Sir.
So, you said you got into golf. What's the best that you've shot so far?
Now I've only actually been on the greens once because I got into it during football season. It's hard to actually do stuff during that, but um, other than that, I'll be in the indoor. So we have a full indoor 130 yards, and I'll be in there just working on my swing, things like that. And now that football season's over, I'll be able to get on like the actual course and see what I can do.
All right. Well, I like doing the top golf. Not very good at it, so you'll probably never catch me on the golf course because I'll be shanking them. But
Mm.
uh, it's something I'd want to get into maybe when I'm a little bit older and I got time to actually get to hit the greens and learn a little bit more to play that. But that's cool that you learn how to play it. Being an athlete, how does playing and learning all these different sports help you excel in just becoming a better athlete?
There's a lot of main movements that come in different sports like baseball or golf. It's a huge rotational sport, things like that. And or if you were to play soccer, it's a lot of stamina, footwork. Basketball, just quickness, explosiveness, and things like that. And pretty much all of those things work into whatever sport you're playing. Like for me, obviously, I'm a football guy, so just quickness. I played soccer when I was younger. I mean, I got pretty solid footwork from it, but I mean, if I would have kept playing, my feet would have been great. Basketball, you get explosiveness from it, and you just there's a whole different speed when it comes to basketball, and I think that helped me in football with just the pass rush and things like that. And I mean, when it comes to any other sport, I'd say baseball's probably the hardest to be play a different sport and then come into baseball and like be good at it, because it's just huge technique and like you got to be real sound with whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and you see a lot of football players, especially some of the top end guys. They're playing the two sports, the football and the basketball, and you hear about the toll that it takes because you could be in football shape, but then the moment you start playing basketball, you start dropping a little bit of weight, and then you got to regain it back in the summer. But baseball is a completely different sport. Requires a completely there is I'm gonna be honest, like I don't know how some of these guys play, like Deion Sanders have played baseball and football at the same time, because it's just two different types of conditioning. I mean,
Yeah, especially at the pro level, like he was playing, like he was in college for what his last 1 or 2 years, and then played in the MLB. Plus, was in the league playing in the MLB, and it's just, I mean, practicing, staying. It's just I don't understand how they do it. You gotta really love baseball for you to want to play both at the same time.
yeah, especially for as long as a baseball season is, it's just
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Right. It takes forever.
Yeah, which speaking of long seasons, so people have talked about the expansion of the college football playoffs and maybe going 12 teams, which what we're doing in 24 and 25, but maybe even going beyond that and going to 16 teams, and how it adds games on to the to the schedule of a college athlete, which I look at it from the perspective of a fan's point of view and go, well, these guys are trying to prepare to be an NFL athlete, so why don't we just match what they're doing, or stay a couple games under, then they're still playing less than an NFL season. And, people are like, well, it's still the wear and tear. And I'm like, but it prepares them for the NFL. What are your thoughts on, the expansion of a longer season? Because baseball's long, right? And, they're two different sports. But what do you think about the expansion of the sport itself in terms of the college football level? Maybe expanding the playoffs, making the regular season shorter, adding more playoff games or bowl games, you know, or whatever that looks like.
I definitely agree with expanding the playoffs. I mean, it gives a lot more teams a shot to actually play for something. Bowl games are always fun, but I mean, if you're not playing for a national championship, then you kind of your season's over basically after that, other than the bowl game. And I think it'll stop a lot of these players from opting out of bowl games, things like that, because if the playoffs are expanded, I mean, you're still playing for a national title, and until you lose, there's no point in you to stop your season. And yeah, it will get guys ready for the league. They are in a 17 game regular season right now in the NFL, and so I think it will prepare guys a lot more. And I mean, once you're in the NFL, you're doing other things, but you're not having to go through school and just balance those two things like you are in college. So I think once you're in the NFL, it's just you have one job, and other than that, you're getting recovery. You're trying to get some deals, some brand deals, things like that. But with college, it's just you're balancing school, getting good grades, finals, whatever, and football. And so I think having a little bit shorter of a season in the NFL is also good. And then, I mean, high school, we're kind of used to it, especially in Texas. Like the most games we'll play is 16, so 16 all the way up to for the state game. And I mean, we played 14 this season. Sadly, lost in the fourth round, and I mean, it takes a toll, but we're already going to be used to it going up to college.
And that's crazy because 16 is more than than what you'd play at the college football level if you went to the national championship.
Right.
So that's definitely crazy that Texas high school football does that, which we were talking about it in the green room earlier. We were talking about the level of high school footballs and what there is between, just IMG Academy itself, but then also you have, just the state of Florida and Texas and all these places that, we consider them elite high school. Like when we think of Texas, we don't think of necessarily the college teams that are out there. We think of Friday Night Lights, high school football.
Right.
Um, I've seen, videos, and I've heard from other guys talk about the comparison between Texas or Florida football and which one's better. But in your opinion, what state football is better?
Texas is always on top. I mean, these teams that are coming in and beating them, like the St. John Boscos and Cali and all that say that they're on top, they're playing public Texas high schools. So, I mean, when you're able to recruit guys, you're at a private school, and you're able to do everything. You're playing against a public high school in Texas that's not able to recruit. You're getting guys from your area, and that's it. And I mean, for them to even be playing them is just, that's something to Texas high school football, because we don't have any private schools that are just playing nationally. It was straight high schools back when Kyler was at Allen, winning national championships. I mean, that's just, Texas will always be on top.
No, they will. And again, we've talked about it so many times, but imagine if the college football Texas teams could just get their state under control and recruit. I mean, if they could just get those guys to stay home, it'd be every Texas team in the playoffs without a doubt, because there's just so many good players that are coming out of the state of Texas.
Yeah, there's some studs. If they could get a couple guys to stay home every year and have everything situated, I think TCU does pretty well on that. Or who was it? I can't remember who. Maybe it was UT who has the most guys in Texas, that Texas high school football players that go to college there. But if the A&Ms and other schools could keep those Texas guys in here, I mean, it'd be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to start seeing that a little bit more, especially with Oklahoma leaving the Big 12 and Texas leaving the Big 12. You're going to have opportunities for the TCUs and the Baylors and the Techs to start to stand up and move up and have potential start playing in the playoffs, which will help their recruiting, help them be able to land some more of those guys. And listen, TCU is already doing it. They're in the playoffs this year, which, I mean, you look at what they – it's incredible.
It is. It's impressive. I mean, a lot of people don't agree with it. I mean, they lost one game in their conference championship. There's no reason they should be out of the playoffs, and I mean, it's well deserved by them.
Yeah, no, the committee 100% made the right decision. Like I was ready to riot if they didn't leave TCU in the playoffs, because I was like, how are you going to put in a 2-loss Alabama team that didn't even win their division in the playoffs? And so, no, they definitely made the right decision. I don't care what people say. TCU's was probably one of the most impressive and shocking teams of the season. I definitely did not have them winning this many games. I had them maybe going to a good bowl game, but did not have them here. So definitely impressive. And this is a good step in the right direction for the program. They've actually, you've seen it on the recruiting trail and in the transfer portal. They're getting some pretty decent guys out of there. And then on the recruiting trail, they've gotten commitments from top 100 players, including one of them, I think, Marcus Deal, in the recent past couple of weeks. So TCU is really doing it. And in terms of everybody else, they had probably one of the best schedules in terms of strength of it, because they had to play, I think it was 4 or 5, maybe even 6 ranked teams this year.
Yep.
So
it's impressive what they did. I mean, they might have all been close games, most of them, but they pulled through in the end, and they went through that undefeated regular season. And I mean, it's nothing but deserved for them.
Yeah, nothing but deserved. So if there was anything you could do to change the playoffs, right, and make it more enticing, because you talked about it with players opting out and everything else, it's always probably, I think, going to be a problem unless bowl games are sharing revenues with the players to give them an incentive, right? Like, hey, you win this game, you get 5,000. If you lose, you get 2,500, right? And then, the higher up bowl games pay them more. What would you do to change the college football playoffs to make it more enticing for a player like yourself?
I think just extending the playoffs. I mean, I'm not huge on getting everyone money like that. Just incentives for winning, because the gear and stuff they get for just being in a bowl game is already crazy. Like watches, tech suits, backpacks, shoes, like a whole bunch of clothes. You're getting to experience just wherever you're going, and a new land. You're able to be there down there for a week, meeting people, doing all these things. So I don't think that we should be giving them incentives for winning, because that is kind of for college football. But I think just extending the college football playoffs will make a lot of these guys stay in, and not want to just wait for the start preparing for the draft, and they'll want to actually play for something.
Yeah, so you actually bring up something pretty interesting. You're talking about people not necessarily needing to get paid for winning the games and the bowl games. Because I look at it as those people make so much money in the revenue from the players playing there, whether it's on TV or selling stuff. Like I think people, like we see the empty stadiums and think, oh, these bowl games aren't worth anything. It's like no, like they could be earning several, 10, $20 million on TV. You give the players a fraction of that, it would be great. What is your thoughts on NIL? And quite frankly, as we start to talk about your recruitment a little more, does NIL have an impact on you and where you might want to go play at school?
No, they have no impact. I'm going to play where the coaches I feel will develop me the best, because I mean, you could be a top player coming out, make a lot of money in NIL, and not be a top draft pick. I want to be whatever I am now, make some money in college, and be a top draft pick and make way more than I did throughout college. And that's the most important thing to me. There's not going to be any schools enticing me with $1 million or something like that to go there. And I feel that the guys that are going to schools because they offer them $600,000, $800,000 are not making the right decision, because they're letting money get in the way of where they feel they should actually go. Unless, hey, I committed. I feel it should be like, hey, I committed here already. All right, now we're gonna get some NIL stuff set up for you, and because I still feel players should be paid and things like that, but it won't be deciding where I go at all. I think a lot of these guys are making some wrong decisions, committing early, and then flipping off of maybe a last minute NIL deal. And that, I mean, what's a commitment worth if you're just flipping that like that?
Hey, I love to hear it. The I'm committed. I'm here. That's why I'm staying. We've talked a little bit in the green room about your recruitment and potentially maybe later on down the road drop in the top 16 or top 12. But give us a little bit of insight to your recruitment as it's been said already. I know it's been pretty early in the cycle, but have you taken any visits anywhere? And have you had like just a visit that has stood out to you so far?
Now, recently, Penn State has started recruiting me a couple months ago, and I took a visit down there for the Maryland game, and I didn't know how much I would like that school. And it just, if I were to have a list, jumped to the top five of the list. I mean, I had a great time down there. The coaches are just real personable. Like, they're like fun to be around, easy to talk to, great coaches. I mean, the people they have put in the league, like, numbers speak for themselves, and they have put great D linemen, great linebackers out in the league in the past. They're getting great recruits so far, and Coach Frank he's doing something up there. I mean, I enjoyed my time. They've come down and been around in Texas, and I've seen them, and I think they are definitely a visit I've enjoyed and will be back to. OU, always enjoy going down there. Great coaches, real family atmosphere, and that's one of my biggest things. And then Ohio State, they're I mean, they got on me really early and showed that they wanted me. And so Coach Ed is a legendary coach. I mean, not much you got to say about him other than look at the people he's put in the league. And I mean, there's been a lot of visits I've enjoyed. Miami, Rutgers. I mean, it's some schools you wouldn't expect, but I enjoy family atmospheres and places where I feel like these D-line coaches are gonna get me somewhere.
Yeah. So you talked about Penn State. It's pretty far away. Um, but have you had a chance to go to a place like Alabama yet, or Georgia, or maybe even the LSU's of the world?
Now I went to LSU back when they had Coach O. I haven't been back since. I was supposed to go, but I had some other things I had to attend to. And I have been to Alabama. I've been down there twice now, and I enjoy my time down there, getting to speak with Coach Saban and all that. I have not been to Georgia yet because they offered me a couple months ago, and I haven't had time to uh, go down yet. And other than that, I mean, I've been to UT a couple times. I've been to A&M a couple times. I've been to Miami, Rutgers, TCU, Ohio State, Penn State.
It's
Uh,
hard to keep track of them when there's so many, right?
yeah, I've been across the country trying to make my rounds, and it's a lot of schools that I don't know if people would expect, but I'm gonna take my visits, take my time, and enjoy this process.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely enjoy it. I think we were talking about that a little bit in the green room. When you got the officials and you got 5 that you can take, even if you know where you're going, just go take them. Enjoy it. So, what is the best college game day atmosphere that you've been to so far? Because obviously you've listed some pretty incredible places. Penn State, I've always wanted to go to one of their games, especially a whiteout. I don't know if the game you went to was a whiteout or not. And then Ohio State, of course, 104,000 fans screaming at you. What's the best game day atmosphere?
The best is so I've been here. The top 5 that I've been to are definitely Arkansas when they played Bama.
Oh,
That was a crazy game day atmosphere. Ohio State when they played Notre Dame, opening game,
yeah.
great game. Bama when they played A&M, and those are probably the top 3. And then I'm gonna throw A&M versus LSU in there as well. Uh,
In Death Valley or in Kyle Field?
in Kyle Field.
Okay.
It was last. I think no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Nah, it wasn't the A&M versus LSU game. It was actually A&M versus Miami that I went to this season. But those are probably the best. And the number one for me has to be UT versus Bama. Loudest, hugest game day atmosphere I've been to. I mean, it was the crowd was just they were standing up the whole time, and it was just that stadium was moving.
And I'm an OU fan, and I thought about going down there that weekend because I was like, I just love college football so much. Like, that's a game I want to go to. But yeah, no, I couldn't imagine that atmosphere. And that game was crazy too.
It was, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. UT possibly should have won if Quinn would have stayed in there, but it is what it is.
We've talked about this many times on the show with other people, and it's like you can pull the what if card so much, but like, yeah, if Quinn Ewers would have stayed there, they probably would have been a higher scoring game, but there's no telling what Alabama done would have.
Bryce Young would have pulled out the bag. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a game of adjustments. And I can tell you this because look at the Colts game this weekend. 33
Oh
nothing,
yeah,
and they let the Vikings come back and
crazy.
win it. Like, how does that happen? It's because football is a game of adjustments, and anybody can make that subtle shift to come back or anything like that. So, but yeah, no, that game was incredible, and I'm excited for round 2 this upcoming season. And this time it's going to be in Tuscaloosa, so Alabama's going to be wanting their revenge because I think they realized they probably should have been putting the smackdown on Longhorns fans.
Exactly. It'll be a good one to go to possibly, and then OU also. I mean, you can't leave them out. They're not like a 100,000 stadium, but every game I've been to, even the spring game, they have packed out the stadium. Like there's no room to sit. I mean, it's always packed. It's just not one of those like where you feel collapsed in by the stadium, kind of like A&M, where it's kind of over you and it's just I don't know.
Eh,
It's crazy.
Norman's interesting because we have a very passionate fan base, and that can either bite us in the rear sometimes, or it can help us out a lot because, like you said, the spring game, I know that went away with a lot of people, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, 70,000 people for a spring game."
Right.
But then you see the toxicity of maybe being a Sooner fan sometimes with expecting great play out of your quarterback, and then like, oh, time to go to the next one, right? As things aren't looking great. So, no, Norman's great, but I would love to go check out some other stadiums. I think I have plans to go watch us play Michigan in 2 years, 2 years, 3 years when we go to Michigan. In 2 or 3 years, we go to Michigan. So I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for that matchup. Go to the big house.
That'll be a good one. And Coach V will have all his recruits by then. So,
yeah.
He'll have it situated.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe you'll be on that team with all the defensive linemen and David Stone and all those guys. So I'm under the impression that 2024 is going to be probably one of the best defensive line classes we probably have ever seen in college football, just because of all the targets they're going after and that they feel really good about. So
who knows? Who knows? It might
who
be.
knows? Might be. You never know. Get a little nugget there. But talking about high school, kind of backtracking a little bit, you had a pretty good season this season. 95 tackles, 11 sacks, 18 tackles for loss. I know that's a big stat that we want to look at for the defensive linemen, that and the sacks. But you caused 2 forced fumbles. You had 2 of those unrecovered. And then you got to the quarterback 30 times. That's impressive. So in terms of just the high school football level, you and I both feel like you're underrated a little bit. Only being a 4-star and you're the 10th ranked defensive lineman in the country. Where do you feel like you should stack in terms of some of the other defensive linemen in the country?
I think I'm one of the best D linemen in the country because how versatile I am. I mean, usually I'd be out playing a 5-tech, but this year we changed up our defense, and now I played a lot of head up forward. We were 2-gapping, and I still did my thing. I mean, I'm not meant to bang inside. I played nose when I had to, made some plays, especially I played nose during that big Lovejoy game that we had. I played 2-tech, 3-tech, 4-tech, 5-tech, and me being versatile and great in all of those techniques, I feel that I am definitely one of those top 3 D linemen in the nation just off of that, because some of those guys are just big D tackles. Just I don't know who they're playing, but possibly good. I know they're playing some good talent, but I just feel I'm more technical sound, more athletic, and just better overall.
No problem with it. Go out there and say it. You feel like you're better than everybody else. We'll just put you up there, best defensive lineman in the country, or top 3. But yeah, it's I think you'll definitely have a chance to move up as the 23 cycle ends and they really start to go in there and evaluate the 24 guys and figure out where you guys belong. But listen, the competition in Texas at the defensive line position, really. It's tough, but the only person you really have to compete with for the top spot in Texas is Colin Simmons. I mean, out of Duncanville, Texas, the number 1 rated defensive lineman. So
yeah, and I feel like he's more of an edge guy. I mean, I watched him play in that state game. I watched all the state games. I feel like, I mean, he's not really a DN. He's kind of like Micah Parsons. Like he's an edge outside backer type of guy. But
yeah.
I think he should probably be ranked as well. I don't know what he's ranked as, to be honest. But
he's the number 1. So he is listed as an edge in 247. And he's listed as, I have it broken out as just like the top defensive line, and it'll actually combine edge and then interior guys as well in there. But if I break it out, just interior guys, you're the number 6 overall. So, and I think looks like you're number 1 in Texas at that point. So.
Yeah, it's just he's a pretty solid player. Yes, sir. He's very quick. I mean, I watched him in that state game. Nothing really terrible about him. I think he gets some good coaching. He could fix up some things, and better college coaching. He could fix up some things, but other than that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So, well, hey, as we start to wrap up here, just kind of want to get a little bit more back into the recruiting side. You know, has there been anybody, especially other defensive linemen in your class, that have like reached out to you trying to get you to team up? You know, what does that communication look like in terms of a recruit to recruit communication to play with each other?
I mean, obviously, we got a UT commit down at my school, left tackle. He's not a D lineman, but he stays on it all the time on me about going to UT. David Stone, he stays in touch with me, not like through Messenger or anything, but whenever I'm there on a visit with him, he'll talk to me about some places and he'll kind of nudge me towards whatever school. And other than that, no, I don't really talk to too many other recruits outside of my school, to be honest. We did play Denison. They have an OU commit. Oh, no, hold on. Either Denison or Crandall. They have an OU commit. And he's like, he was just everything. He was Mr. Everything when we played them. He was just a complete athlete. I think he's going for safety. And
Was it Samuel Omosigo?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Actually, we've had him on as well. Yeah, he's going to be incredible.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's huge, and he was doing everything for his team. He was in that Wildcat, just making plays on defense. And he's after that game, he was talking to me a lot about OU. He said he's gonna get me down there, but we'll see.
Yeah. That player-to-player recruiting, you always wonder how big of an impact that really has. So,
I think player to player, it just depends on the relationship you have with them. If y'all are if y'all say y'all are best friends, y'all grew up or y'all went to the same high school, that's got to have a huge impact. Y'all are at the same high school for a couple of years. Y'all are good friends. Y'all want to play together. But if y'all are just like dudes hitting you up like on Instagram talking about you gotta come here, maybe you build a little relationship, but I don't think it really has too much of an impact.
yeah. Well, that's awesome. And listen, we wish you well in your recruitment. Obviously, we'd love to have you here in Norman. But, you know, you got to do what's best for you. And again, take all your visits and enjoy that process. Enjoy the being wined and dined and all the sales pitches. But like I said, Norman's a great place. I ain't going to deter you away from there. We're pretty awesome out here in Oklahoma. All you got to deal with is the tornadoes and
Right.
Yeah, but
that ain't too bad.
Yeah, it ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. But hey, well, I appreciate you coming on. It was fun. And like I said, we'll definitely be watching your recruitment. And, listen, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. Jump down in the comments below. Where do you think Nigel should go? Give him your recruiting pitch down here in the comments. But also, Nigel, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me on pretty much everything at Nigel Smith _25, Twitter, Instagram, everything.
All right, cool. All right, well, again, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it, and we're excited to see your recruitment.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.